In my last video, I talked about legal ways that you can save money. In this video, I'm talking about legal ways that you can make money, often in quite significant amounts. And I'm not just going to talk about filling in online surveys, selling your old clothes, or signing up to cashback schemes. And it goes without saying that you should always take formal advice first, whether that be legal or financial, and you shouldn't rely on this video. But I'm going to reveal some ways that might surprise you that are perfectly legal, ways that you can make money very quickly. But first of all, if you're new to me, I'm a barrister who helps you understand law, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. So starting out with the big hitter to grab your attention, it is perfectly legal to rent out a room or part of your home to a lodger. In fact, you can earn as much as £7,500 tax-free under the government rent-a-room scheme. You can let out as much or as little of your home as you like, and if you earn less than £7,500, the exemption is automatic. If you earn more than that, then you will need to declare it on your tax return. So you'll need to speak to an accountant or be competent at doing that yourself. There are many guides online, not least of which on the government website. Doing this makes you the resident landlord, and you can let out part of your home whether you own the home or not. Although it would be important to check any tenancy agreements and so on in case there are restrictions against doing it. There is even a designated help sheet on the government website that helps you to understand how to do this, which I'll link in the description below. But as I said, you can earn up to £7,500 a year tax-free on this scheme, which is certainly one easy way of making some money by renting out part of your home. Speaking of renting out part of your home, it doesn't have to be part of the house itself that you rent out. If you have a driveway or some other area on which someone could park, you can rent this space out, particularly if you live close to a city, which would be a perfect traveling distance for someone that doesn't want to park in the city paying city parking prices, but you could rent out part of your driveway. Equally, if you have a garage, you can rent this out as well. Some people might prefer to have their car in a garage in certain locations, and obviously with certain types of cars. You can list such a space on Just Park or Your Parking Space. This is not a sponsored video, making it easier for you to connect with someone that wants to rent such a space, and you can set the fee, which could well be anything from £50 to £300 a month. Not an insignificant amount of money just for renting out some space on your driveway that you might not otherwise be using. Again, with the theme of renting out some space, if you don't necessarily want somebody to live there, but you have some loft space or garage space or some other kind of storage space, you can rent out that space as a storage facility and potentially make hundreds, if not thousands of pounds a year. Particularly if you've got some space and you are in London, where storage space obviously comes at a premium. You could convert a room, a loft space, a garage or a shed into some storage space that you could rent out online perfectly legally to make some extra money. But from a legal perspective, be sure to tell your insurance company that you are renting out part of your home as a storage outlet, because this might constitute business use, and whilst it's not really likely to affect your insurance too much, failing to disclose it may invalidate the insurance in the event of a claim. If you still like the idea of making some money with your home, but you don't want anyone to live there and you don't want anyone to rent any of the space, whether that be for a car or storage, you can still do this potentially by renting out your home just for the day as some part of a film set. Whether your property is out in the country or deep in the city, some film companies will pay hundreds if not thousands of pounds just for the day to use your property as a film set, particularly if you have a particularly attractive room, modern kitchen, and so on. Again, with the legal hat on, it would be best to tell your insurance company about it so that you don't risk invalidating any claim for any damages. Although most film companies are likely to set up their own insurance for damages, it's still worth talking to your own insurance company as well. Moving out of the house for a moment, if you wear a uniform for work and you are required to wash and clean that uniform on a daily and weekly basis, you may be able to reclaim hundreds of pounds in tax for up to 5 years for the services that you have had to provide on behalf of the company in washing the uniform. This is effectively because you have gone to the cost of cleaning that uniform with after-tax money and not had the benefit of that money. Therefore, there is the option for a tax refund. And it doesn't really matter whether it's a head-to-toe uniform, such as a police officer, or just a t-shirt with the company logo on it. You may still be able to claim some tax refund because you've had to clean the uniform at home. And it doesn't just stop at uniforms. If you are required to work at home for part of your work, use your vehicle, stay in hotels, go to other expenses such as professional subscriptions, use your own tools, or buy any kind of other equipment. You may be able to claim some tax relief perfectly legally for any of the above that you are required to do as part of your work. If you have never thought about any of these, from your uniform to your home to your vehicle to expenses to traveling around or buying tools or using your own things, then you may well be able to go back for many years to reclaim a tax refund on each of the allowances set out herein. And again, I've put the link in the description below so you can read more about it. Now, if you're just looking to earn a bit of extra money legally, but you don't necessarily want to go out to any particular job, why not consider dog walking and dog sitting? These are perfectly legal activities that you can advertise for or simply put the word around on Facebook and social media, and you can charge anything you wish that might be competitive with market rates. This might be 10, 15 or even £20 an hour depending on where you are and what services you are prepared to offer whilst taking care of someone else's dog, whether that's taking them for a walk or just sitting in their house to take care of it. Not only can you earn some money by doing this, but obviously you might be out walking and getting some exercise as well. The next tip on legally making some money is a bit more of reclaiming money that's rightfully yours in the first place. Whilst this might annoy many of you, it is certainly worth knowing. In recent years, many people have switched energy suppliers almost year on year looking for the cheapest supplier. But what you might not realize is that at the end of that period, you may well have a credit left over with the previous supplier. And many of those companies choose not to refund that to you unless you specifically ask for it. They are not necessarily going to automatically transfer it to your new supplier because they have no contractual relationship with them. Whilst they just surrender the supply of the energy to your property, there's no relationship between the two. Your relationship with your previous energy supplier is such that they will be legally obliged to give you that money back. So if you work it out that there might be £100 or £150 left over with each energy supplier at the point that you switch, and this has gone on for 5 or 6 years, 6 years being the limitation period under simple contract claims, you may very well have hundreds if not thousands of pounds left over from previous energy suppliers because you believe that they would honestly transfer it to the new supplier or credit you back if a credit was due. Sadly, this is not always the case, and I would urge you strongly to contact them to check. And if there is any money left over and they refuse to give it back, then you may well have a claim, probably on the small claims track, to recover that money. Next, and whilst I'd be very surprised if many of you don't know what PPI is by now, Payment Protection Insurance, reclaims for money from your bank are not limited to PPI. If you've been sold a bank account, which is a packaged product that includes any kind of travel insurance, mobile phone insurance, or any other kind of insurance that you didn't ask for and you didn't agree to in the first place, you may well be able to claim back those fees that have been bundled into your bank account. And when you think that this could be as much as £10 to £20 a month over several years, you may well be able to claim many hundreds if not thousands of pounds back from your bank for products that you didn't ask for. Finally, another perfectly legal way in which many people are making thousands of pounds from, although some people might try to convince you that it's not legal, is switching your bank account several times over to achieve the reward of £100 or £200 that the banks use to entice you into switching your bank account. There is nothing in law that prohibits you from switching your bank account as many times as you wish, and as many banks will offer you £100 or even £200 in many cases to switch your bank account, you could do this so long as you stick within the rules that they set for you to receive the money as many times as you wish. As an entrepreneur and a barrister, I have many different ways of saving and making money, so give this video a big thumbs up if you like the content, and remember, stay humble and subscribe.